something weird was found under the depths of the ocean.
Earth's oceans are still a big mystery, even more than some places in space. We don't really know what the deep parts of our oceans are like, but we know more about the surfaces of Mars and the Moon. NASA is working to change that by slowly mapping the ocean floor. This could give us clues about what other planets' oceans might be like, and it also helps NASA test equipment for space missions. Surprisingly, there are some similarities between space and our oceans. They both have high pressure, no breathable air, and extreme temperatures. But what makes the oceans scarier is strange mysteries associated to darkness of ocean, weird creatures, and horrifying realities. In today's episode, we are delving into the deep ocean mysteries that will blow your mind. This is Reveal the Mystery. If you are curious to learn mysteries of the world, space, and beyond, consider subscribing. The lost city of Atlantis, initially described by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, has captivated the imagination and stirred speculation for centuries. According to Plato, Atlantis was a highly advanced civilization that thrived approximately 9,000 years before his own era, but ultimately met a tragic fate, sinking beneath the sea in a single, catastrophic event. Over the years, many people have tried to figure out where Atlantis might be. Some think it could be in places like the Mediterranean Sea, the Caribbean, or Antarctica. When we find old underwater buildings, some folks think they might be connected to Atlantis. But even after searching a lot, we still don't have proof that Atlantis was real. People who study this stuff don't agree. Some say Atlantis was just a story Plato made up to talk about big ideas. Others believe it was a real place, and they think some strange underwater places might be part of it. Even though experts don't agree, people still love the idea of Atlantis. It makes us curious about ancient civilizations and what's hidden deep in the ocean. The deep ocean is home to many creatures we haven't discovered yet. Some might be as tiny as a speck, while others are big, like the Dumbo octopus and the Hoth crab. These discoveries show us how much we don't know about ocean life. Each new creature we find teaches us about how they survive and how the deep sea works. But it's tough to find and study these creatures because the deep ocean is hard to explore. These undiscovered creatures remind us that the ocean is full of surprises. As technology gets better, we hope to learn more about them and understand our planet's oceans better. Under the ocean, there are weird things like strange lights and perfect shapes. Some of these oddities come and go quickly, while others stick around and show up on maps of the ocean floor. One example is the Baltic Sea Anomaly, a big round thing found in 2011 that looks like a crashed spaceship. People talked about it a lot, but we still don't know what it is. Another time, Google Earth showed circles in the water near Greece, but when people went to look, they were gone. These strange things make us wonder if they're just mistakes in the pictures, new ocean stuff we don't understand yet, or maybe even signs of creatures we haven't seen before. Exploring the deep sea is hard, and these mysteries show us how much we have left to learn. Tiny living things like bacteria and archaea in the ocean are super important. They help with things like moving nutrients around and keeping the water chemistry right. But we still don't know much about these little guys. Scientists think there could be millions or even billions of different kinds of these tiny creatures in the ocean. But we can't study them in the lab like we do with bigger organisms. So, we call the ones we can't study microbial dark matter. Kind of like how we talk about dark matter in space. Microbial dark matter might have special abilities, new molecules, and cool ways to survive in the deep sea. They could help us with technology and medicine, but it's tough to study them because the deep ocean is a tricky place to take samples, and there are so many of them. One way to learn more is to use a method called Metagenomics, where we look at all the genes in a sample instead of trying to grow the microbes in a lab. This has helped us find some new microbes and understand more about how they live, but we still have a lot to learn. We're still curious about how these tiny creatures live in the ocean and what changes like pollution and climate change might do to them. There's a lot we don't know yet. Sound is a big deal in the deep ocean because it travels really well underwater, even in the dark. Many sea animals use sound to talk, find their way, and hunt. But there's one strange sound scientists have heard that they can't explain. It's a low sound that starts quiet and gets louder over time. It doesn't last long, maybe just a few seconds or minutes. They've heard it in different parts of the ocean, but they don't know where it comes from. Some people think it might be a way for a new kind of deep-sea creature to talk. But it doesn't match the sounds other animals make. Others wonder if it's a noise from the earth moving, but it doesn't sound like other earthquake noises. The ocean's deepest part is called the Hadal Zone, and it's super extreme. It's super deep with really high pressure, total darkness, and freezing cold. Even with all these challenges, there are creatures that live there, like special types of fish and tiny animals. But because it's so hard to explore, we don't know much about these creatures or how they survive. Some studies found radioactive stuff from nuclear tests in the animals down there. But because it's so hard to get to the Hadal Zone, we can't study it well. It's still a big mystery. The deep ocean has a spooky history of making ships disappear. Ghost ships are vessels that vanish in the deep sea, from old sailing ships to modern cargo ships. They disappear without a trace, and it's a mystery. One famous ghost ship is the SS Bakimo, which was left abandoned in Alaska in 1931. People saw it a few times afterward, but never again after 1969. No one knows where it is now. Another well-known ghost ship is the Mary Celeste, found empty in the Atlantic in 1872. Even today, no one knows what happened to the crew. These ghost ships show that the ocean is still a mysterious and powerful place. Even with all our technology, it can still keep secrets. One of the weirdest mysteries of the deep ocean is something called deep sea circles. These are patterns that look like crop circles, but are found on the ocean floor, hundreds of meters below the surface. One famous case was found off Japan in 1995. At first, no one knew what made these patterns, but later they found out it was a tiny pufferfish trying to impress a mate. But there are still other deep sea circles that no one can explain. They look too perfect to be natural, but we don't know who or what makes them. It's another mystery of the deep ocean, and it reminds us that there's a lot we don't understand down there.